Even the buskers have contactless here. Amazing. Australia's been missing out on everything since the beginning of time. But if you have an expensive car, good luck. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Yvette and I moved to the UK in May this year. And we've hit 6 months. I've made it the 6-month mark. And so I thought it'd be fun to do a video kind of reviewing my experience, but mostly telling you all the things that surprised me about moving to the UK. So these are all the things I didn't expect and was kind of like literally shocked by. And the interesting thing with this is that I've traveled to the UK twice before I moved here because I've got family here. And yet I still have a fairly substantial list of things that I just didn't expect. So I missed these the first 2 times I traveled here. But before I get into the list, I will say my birthday is in December, which is not far away, 6th of December if you want to send me some love. As a birthday present, I would love you to go over and follow my Instagram, link is below, because I am doing a special birthday video in December and I need you guys over on my Instagram to help out. So if you want to be a part of a video, might get featured, go and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, so enough rambling, enough self-promo. I'll get into the video of everything I was surprised by when I moved. The first thing that surprised me about moving to England, and I think a lot of you are going to roll your eyes when I say it, driving. And I say that as an Australian, so driving on the left side of the road, not a problem to me, that is the same. However, everyone is so much nicer here. And I live in London, which is known for being mean drivers. So nice. When we were driving just around living life, we had to like turn right across traffic, and we were just sitting there waiting with our blinker on, waiting for a break in traffic. And then as we were waiting, a car flashed its lights and let us go. I've never had that happen to me in Australia in my entire, I was gonna say 25, I haven't been driving for 25 years. In my entire 10 years of driving in Australia, I've never had someone flash their lights and let me go. And merging, same thing. They just kind of let you in. It's amazing. And it sounds so dumb, like one of those things you internalize, and then eventually when you go somewhere else, you're like, oh, that wasn't normal. If you want to merge in Australia, you just kind of play chicken with the most expensive car and eventually they'll let you in. However, that only works if you drive crap cars like I do. But if you have an expensive car, good luck. So yeah, everyone's so nice in terms of like just letting you in, courtesy blinks, and oh my god, and everyone waves, like the thank you wave. Oh, so nice, so refreshing. You're supposed to do that in Australia, but no one does. Like the most you get is like this in the middle of the window. Like it's not good. Whereas here, because I'm sure this would be the same elsewhere, but particularly London, quite windy roads, so often you can only fit one car at a time, so you need to kind of be a bit more courteous and pull to the side and let people through and, you know, just be a bit more of a team player. Every time people wave to you, like thanks for pulling to the side. Oh, so nice. I love it so much. Warms my soul. I'm like, and then you go to Australia and it's just like fight for your life. The other thing with driving is that you have like, it goes green, then it goes amber, then it goes red for like stop, basic traffic lights. But when you're about to leave, it actually goes amber before it goes green. So it kind of gives you a heads up, which I just because I like to know what's going on. But I also think that would be really helpful if you're a manual driver, because you know to start releasing the clutch, which is really helpful. But yeah, I just think that's a really cool little thing I didn't realize. And then the last thing is that you can parking is just a free-for-all here. Like it's good that you've got the lines, like there's the white lines to tell you like what's a spot, but as long as you're in those lines, you can do whatever you want. Like you can face either way, you could be half up on the path, like it doesn't matter as long as you're there, it's like good enough. For example, in my street in Australia was that my parents lived on a hill, at the base of a hill, so it's annoying to park facing upways because then the car door is really heavy to get out. So you want to park down the hill, but it's actually illegal to park on the opposite the flow of traffic. You have to park the same flow as traffic. So it's actually illegal to park downhill in front of your own house. Stuff like that is very common in Australia. So parking, as long as you're like in the times, and also like in the space, you're good, but like everything else you can just like get away with, which is pretty good. I was expecting the food not to be very good because of the reputation. However, food here has been so much better than I thought, and there's so much more variety. Like you just can't get, like, I will say Asian food is better in Australia, but I think there's just a bigger Asian population. But you can still get whatever you want here. Like there's no, like, I used to be a bit worried when we were moving. I was like, oh, what if I can't find the certain noodle that I liked or whatever? And I'm like, Australia's been missing out on everything since the beginning of time. If I can get it in Australia, I'll definitely be able to find it somewhere in England. So, and that proved to be correct. So I shouldn't have stressed so much, but yeah, the food here is so much better than I thought, particularly vegan food. Like I can go to any restaurant and they will have something for me. That is not the case in Australia, by far. One thing I hate is carrying cash. I don't even have a wallet. Fun fact, this is my phone, this is my wallet. I carry my card in my wallet. Carry my card in my phone, and that's my wallet, and that's all I take, because I don't, unless I'm driving, I need a license. But other than that, that's all I take out, and it's great. I hate cash, I hate coins. England is so cashless. They have tap and go for everything. Contactless, I think you call it here. We call it tap and go, which is like, sounds like, I don't know, a breakfast food. But yeah, so contactless everywhere. You can go to food markets, borough markets, I don't know, anything you can think of, they'll take cashless, even contactless. Even I saw a busker on the subway. I'm like, where did I get subway from? I saw a busker on the tube yesterday, and they had a little sign saying like, if you don't have cash, we take contactless, here's £2. Like even the buskers have contactless here. Amazing. England in general loves following rules, loves order, love it. I love order because I'm awkward and I have anxiety, and so if everyone just follows the rules and does everything how I expect, I'm much happier. And that's England. Like, I know I've ranted about like the tube's rules and all that, but realistically, day to day, everyone lets everyone get on and off transport nicely. They'll always give their seat up. Everyone likes to queue. No one will cut you off. No one cuts in line. They'll let you go first. Everyone's just so accommodating and friendly, and like, I don't know, I think everyone has a certain level of respect, baseline respect, unless you do something to like cause them not to have respect anymore. But generally, there's always a baseline of respect for everybody and their own like goals for the day. So like, they were just like, I don't know, mutual respect, and I love it. And everyone follows rules and order. I went to Greece for 10 days and they just don't have as much order and procedures as the UK does. They're a bit more like easygoing. And I came back to the UK and I was in the airport and they had on the floor like where to go, and I was like, oh, so much order, so much procedure. I love it. So organized. It makes me so happy. I know where to be and I can tell what I'm supposed to be doing. It's so good. One thing I found surprising was that everywhere I go seems to have the oldest pub, which makes no sense because there should only be one oldest pub. Or they'll have like some random, you know, denomination. They'll be like the oldest pub in England, the oldest pub in the UK, the oldest pub in Britain, the oldest pub in Wales, the oldest pub in Cardiff. Like they're all the oldest in some way. And then it gets to points where it's like the oldest pub on Brick Lane. Like how small are you going? So it's just like, it's such a weird flex that you're like, I want to be the oldest, which I guess I would go to the oldest pub if I knew which one it was, but it honestly means nothing anymore because everyone is saying the same thing. So I'm like, it's kind of lost the pizzazz of like going to the world's oldest pub. Be like, is it though? Tell me below if there is actually like a consensus on that, because I would actually really like to go to the world's oldest pub. Tell me in the comments below. This thing probably blew my mind the most. Anyone who's not British, like, prepare yourself. They don't use top sheets here. You have your sheet to cover the mattress, and then you have a duvet / a duvet cover, and that's it. What? You know, and I maybe, oh man, I'm figuring it all out, all my pieces are coming together. Maybe that's because the places here, like the homes, are quite well insulated. They hold their heat quite well. In Australia, in winter, it got so cold, and my house is like not built for the cold. My bed would be the mattress cover, then me, then I'd have a top sheet, then I'd have a blanket, like a thick blanket, like one of these, and then I would have a duvet on top of that. And sometimes in winter you'd have 2 duvets or 2 blankets in the middle. So you'd have like 4 layers on you in winter because it's like so cold to stay warm. And I remember once, this is like when I was maybe a teenager, I woke up in the middle of the night because I was so cold, and I put my head under the covers and I was using my breath to warm up the bed. So like, what are we doing? So this is why my problem is when everyone's like, the UK is cold. I'm like, come to an Australian house in winter, because it is not warm. It just like loses heat. So anyway, they don't have top sheets here, and I searched so far to find like a bed set that had like a pillowcase, a top sheet, and a mattress cover. They don't exist. They do exist, that's a lie, but like they're not common. They're not the norm. So I like to, you know, follow the rules as per my previous point. So I just have a top sheet and the duvet, and I actually am much happier this way. So I'm on board. I think you guys were right in the end, because the problem when you have a top sheet and then a duvet is that like they're never aligned, or like if you're sharing a bed with someone, someone's got the top sheet, someone's got the duvet, they're all misaligned, and I'm like, my OCD goes a bit crazy. But if you just have the duvet, it's so easy. You don't have to tuck it in. You just like, making the bed is so easy. You just like pull it out. It's, yeah, nah. I've made this point way longer than it needs to be, but oh my gosh, on board. Life is a lot easier, and I've not been cold enough. I've never woken up from being cold, let's say that. I've never even woken up and found it hard to get out of bed yet. You guys will probably be like, wait till January or something. Another thing that shocked me or surprised me was the amount of random bills you have to pay. You have to pay for council tax, which is quite dear to be fair compared to council tax in Australia. Then you have your normal bills, so like electricity, gas, water. So it's interesting, you don't pay, water here is much cheaper than Australia. I bet you can guess why. And then you also have to have your TV license. TV license was the one that shook me the most. I know there's been so many comments about the TV license, but yeah, that one, I was just like, you need a what? And then you also need to pay, well, I needed to buy like a parking permit for the street because I don't have anyone with my car. But there was just so many little bills that I was just like, every 2 minutes there was something I needed to pay. Also agent fees, oh my gosh, they were expensive. So moving is not cheap in the UK, not that it's ever really cheap, but I just got shocked at all the little bills that kind of kept piling up. And then also I was surprised by the NHS, how you have to register with a doctor. I actually think it's a good idea. I actually really like, there's a few things the NHS does that Australia doesn't, and I think they should take it. So one is that you go to a doctor and you register and you do a health check before you're sick, so they have a baseline, which is so smart because like if my blood sugar is always at a certain level, it's not going to be a shock when I'm actually ill and my blood level's up. Like you don't know what it was before. So it's actually quite smart having a normal line. That said, I haven't gone to my doctor and done it yet, but I will. It is on the list. It's just like, I don't want to be tested. The other thing with the NHS is, this is so nerdy and only for people like who like care about the nitty gritty of it all. In Australia, you can't get certain medications without a prescription. One is like codeine, like painkillers. It used to be over the counter, now you got to get a prescription. In the UK, you can get 2 boxes or whatever it is, and then you need a prescription. So like if you're in pain now and you need like relief now, you can get it. But if you get it more than once in a short period of time, it like flags as a risk. And then then you need a prescription to stop people getting addicted. And I was like, that's good, because it helps the people not getting addicted, and it helps the people who need pain relief now, because if you've like got a toothache, you're like, I don't want to go to the doctor just to get a prescription, just to get pain relief, you know? So I think it's a great system. So my last thing that surprised me, and it makes me sound like I had really bad expectations, but the hospitality is so much nicer here. And I just mean that in a work sense. So for my job, I have to go and have a lot of meetings with people. And I did that back in Australia, I did the same job. And every single meeting I go into, no matter how much time is allocated to it, they will say, do you want a coffee or a tea? I never got that in Australia. Maybe it was just like they just didn't treat my job profession very well, or they didn't respect us as much. I don't know what it was, but like just the little things of like just being a bit more courteous or a bit more hospitable, a bit nicer, much more here. And it's not that I didn't expect them to be rude or anything, I just wasn't expecting, you know, I already thought I was getting hospitable treatment at home, and then I started getting it here and I was like, oh, that means I was getting mistreated. So it's not so much a comment on the Brits, it's more a comment on Australia. But that's the tea. Gosh, I'm way too old to be saying that's the tea. But anyways, that is the end of this video. These are all the things that kind of surprised me and that I wasn't expecting when I moved to England. Tell me in the comments below if you agree with these or you disagree. If you've moved here, tell me if you had the same expectations and were also surprised when you moved. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.